I want to talk about something that nobody told me when I was starting my career. And it took me years to figure it out on my own. When you are 2 years or 3 years into your career, coding is everything. Your value is your code. Your identity is your code. You stay up late learning new frameworks, new languages, new tools. And that's great. But here is the truth. After 10 years in IT, the people who get promoted, the people who get the big roles, the people who become truly irreplaceable, they are not the best coders in the room. They are the ones who have skills that go way beyond writing the code. Today, I'm going to share 6 skills that matter more than coding once you hit that senior level. So let's get into it. Skill number 1, communication. I'm going to start with the one that most engineers underestimate, communication. And I do not mean writing emails or updating those Jira tickets. I mean the ability to take complex technical idea and explain it so that anyone in the room can understand it. Your product manager, your VP, your client, people who have never written a line of code in their life. Here's what I have seen over and over again. There are engineers who do amazing work, but nobody knows about it. Why? Because they cannot communicate what they did, why it matters, and what impact it had. And then there are engineers who do good work, not even great work, but they explain it very clearly. They present well. They write clean documents. And guess what? They get the visibility, the promotions, and the trust. A recent study found out that communication was the number one most requested skills across 2 million tech job postings. So if you want one skill that will 10x your career, it is this. Learn to communicate your ideas clearly in meetings, in emails, in presentations, in messages, virtually everywhere. And by the way, this is a skill. It is not a talent that you are born with. You can practice it and get better at that. Start by explaining your work to someone non-technical once a week. You'll be surprised how quickly you improve. Skill number 2, stakeholder management. When you are junior, your world is small. You get a task, you do the task. You move to the next task. But after 10 years, your world gets much bigger. Now you're dealing with product managers who want features yesterday. You have a QA team that needs your attention. You have a business team that does not understand why something takes 3 sprints. You have leadership asking for updates. So stakeholder management is the ability to understand what different people need from you, set the right expectations, and keep everyone aligned without losing your mind. Let me give you a simple example. Your VP asks, when will this project be done? A junior engineer says, I do not know, maybe 4 weeks. A senior engineer says, based on our current scope and team capacity, we are looking at 4 to 5 weeks. The biggest risk is the third-party API integration. I will keep you updated every Friday. Same information, but the second one builds trust. This is stakeholder management. Skill number 3, systems thinking. Here's what I mean. When you are early in your career, you think about problems in isolation. There is a bug, you fix the bug. There's a feature, you build that feature. But after 10 years, you start to see that everything is connected. That bug that you fixed, it keeps coming back because the deployment pipeline has no proper testing stage. That feature that you built, it slowed down the entire app because nobody thought of how it interacts with the rest of the systems. Systems thinking means you stop looking at individual problems and start looking at patterns. You ask, why does this keep happening? What is the root cause? If I fix this one thing, what else does it affect? 2026, this skill is even more important because of AI. AI can write code. AI can fix the bugs. But AI cannot look at your organizations, your team dynamics, and your architecture and your business goals and say, here is the real problem and here's how exactly to fix the root. That is systems thinking, and it is incredibly valuable. Skill number 4 is the one that a lot of professionals resist. And I understand why. But trust me, this one is a career multiplier. It is the ability to mentor and grow other people. When you are 10 years into your career, your value is no longer just in what you can produce. It is in how many other people can you make them better. Think about this. You can write the code for 8 hours a day and produce one person's output. Or you can spend 2 hours mentoring 5 junior engineers and now the team's total output goes up by a lot more. This is what Andy Grove, the legendary CEO of Intel, called the manager's output. Your output is not your work. Your output is the output of your team plus the output of the teams that you influence. Teaching others actually makes you better. When you explain something to a junior developer, you're forced to think about it more clearly. You discover gaps in your own understanding. You become sharper. If you're not mentoring anyone right now, start small. Pick one person from your team. Have a 30-minute chat once a week. Share what you have learned. Help them avoid mistakes you made. That is it. It's not complicated, but the impact is huge for them and goes for you. Skill number 5 is one of the hardest to learn, and honestly, I still struggle with it sometimes. It is the ability to say no and prioritize ruthlessly. Early in your career, saying yes to everything is actually a good strategy. You want exposure, you want to learn, you want to prove yourself. But after 10 years, if you are still saying yes to everything, you are going to burn out. And worse, you are going to do a lot of things at an average level instead of a few things at an excellent level. The best senior engineers and tech leads I know are masters at prioritization. They can look at 10 things on their plate and quickly figure out the 3 that will actually move the needle. They say no to the rest, or they delegate, or they push back on the timeline. And this takes courage, because saying no to your manager or to a stakeholder feels risky. But here's what I learned. When you say no with a very clear reason and an alternative, people actually respect you more. It shows that you are thinking strategically, not just doing tasks. A simple framework that I use before I say yes to anything, I ask 3 questions. 1. Does this align with our team's important goal? 2. Am I the best person to do this? And 3. If I say yes to this, what am I going to say no to? The last question, the most important one. And finally, skill number 6. This is the one I wish someone had told me much earlier in my career. It is business awareness. Most engineers, even after 10 years, think of themselves as builders. Someone tells them what to build and they build it. But the engineers who reach to the top, the ones who become directors, VPs, CTOs, they think very differently. They understand the business. They know how the company makes money. They understand which projects drive the revenue and which ones are the cost centers. They can connect their technical decisions to business outcomes. When they propose a new architecture, they do not just talk about the scalability and performance. They talk about how it reduces operational costs by 30% or how it helps the sales team close that deal faster. This is the language that leadership speaks. And if you can speak it too, you become someone who gets invited to the strategy meetings, not just for sprint planning. So, how do you build this skill? Start simple. Read your company's quarterly reports if they are public. Attend all hands meetings and actually listen to the business updates. Have coffee with someone from the sales or marketing and ask them what their biggest challenges are. Ask your manager, what does success look like for our team this year in business terms? Once you start thinking in business terms, you will make better technical decisions. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not saying coding does not matter. Absolutely it does. Your technical foundation is what got you here. But these 6 skills are what will take you to the next level. Here is my challenge for you. Look at this list and be honest with yourself. Which one is your weakest skill right now? Drop it in the comments. I promise you, just admitting it is the first step getting better at that. And I will be in your comments sharing my thoughts as well. If this video gave you something to think about, hit that subscribe button. Every week I share career and leadership advice for people tech who want to grow beyond just writing code. I will see you in the next one. Take very good care of yourself.